Hello, this is Viv Williams, the founder of the clubuk.co.uk. Thank you very much for joining me. My apologies for our recent lapse in time of producing things for you, only we have unfortunately had something go wrong in our family with one of my daughters, and typical of the situation at the moment with natural health. She's been waiting now about 2.5 months, I think, to try and get a scan for suspected bowel cancer, etc. But of course the NHS has just told her it will be when it will be, even though she's been moved up to the critical list. Things don't happen here in Wales very often, and any medical event takes a backstage. May I remind you please to click the like and share buttons and the little ringing bell. Anything that helps us spread our word around is greatly appreciated, and we thank you for doing it. So where do we go from here? As I've advocated before, this club is not really to do with discussing the pandemic or indeed what appear to be very often now failures of Brexit. That is not our role at the moment. Our concerns are really that, as we nearly all of us know now at the moment, our politics are shot. We really do need change, and we need a major redesign and structural change now for our very existence in the future. Obviously things will be dictated by things that are happening at the moment regarding the potential route of our party, but we must all be getting fed up at the moment of what is happening. So really we must need to start to push the formation of this club, that in turn will create a future political party later. But the idea is that it will be done on what the people want. I have had somebody ask me the other day that they'd looked into the club and basically they couldn't see any substance. I quite agree. But I have always said that there will not be any real substance. There will be no substance until the members of the club, which are the people of the country, put forward their ideas that are discussed, selected, and form a basis of a new manifesto for the future. That will be the substance. We all know, of course, that this country is going all to hell. They've cut. Even now, Rushdie's about to be a budget, and at the bottom line, we will be made, as the poorer people, we will be made to pay for the pandemic, even though it has been pure corruption of the way the money's been dished out to friends and associates. No accountability. And I even see today that Hancock now is all the copies of the actual contracts and orders issued, they've all been modified and hidden and written out to hide facts and figures. Why do that if you're not guilty? No, they will be held to account eventually, and our role as this club eventually will be to make sure that they are brought to account. It'll have to be done quickly and strongly. I think that worldwide there'll be a move to get Nuremberg trials all over the world for all these people and politicians, scientists and medical people who are really committing suicide, genocide and assisted genocide. They'll need to be brought to book, and they'll have to be done quickly. We can't afford to have a legal system which takes years to decide. They will need to be brought to book now that they are still alive, so they can take their punishment now. The Nuremberg trials obviously had the death sentence for those who were responsible. If they're responsible for genocide in mass numbers, that is probably applicable, but down to the courts to decide. But whichever happens, if they go to court, there'll have to be a way in which all the assets are stripped and removed. We will look after them, of course, like they look after our poorer people. Their families can go and live in a shelter. We'll make sure they get food and water, which is more actually than what our politicians feel about our working class and poorer class people. The elite have got so elite that they think that they are above everybody. The main things that we will have to do is potentially, have you seen or heard of an MP in the last 6 months? Except for the cabinet ones? No. And you've only seen or heard of half a dozen cabinet ministers who are chopsing about the actual pandemic, what they're doing, what they're going to do, etc. So why do we need 650 MPs? Why do we need any House of Lords at all? yes, we have to have a party because we have to have a second party for legislation, etc. But that could be 50 people in the Senate or something, 50% from a jury from selected people in the country to stand in 12-month terms or 6-month terms, and the rest from learned, skilled barristers, lawyers, and legal people to sort things out correctly. But as for the actual MPs, we could probably go to the American type system or other countries where they have, say, different name, but plus we select a senator for each county. Why have 650? Have a senator and have a hold a meetings once a month in the local hotel or something. We waste billions. That takes us on a course to devolve government. What a shambles that's turning out to be. There's more bickering at the moment between them and money frittering back and forth. No real consensus or direction in time. Look at the SNP now. That's all back again to a real pot of fire. Who knows what's going to come out of that? Wales is a complete shambles. Been involved in this. My daughter lately, and my granddaughter's been there as well for different reasons. But the brand new hospital we've got by us in Glenbran, members of staff or bank nursing, etc., they go there for one shift. After 30 some odd years of nursing, they would not even go back for a second shift. They class it as a circus. There's lack of equipment. Brand new hospital. It's not fully equipped. Yes, they brought it forward, open it, but it isn't even fitted out completely. Drakeford and Gethin are an absolute shambles. So probably we're better off going back to one country, one pot of money, and instruct people to do different things. Not down to me, it'll be down to the people and members of the club, of course. I won't be making the choices. The same goes about local authorities. They're going to give more money to local authorities. Local authorities abuse their money now. It's the most creative accounting practice in the country. It has to be redesigned completely. Yes, we have to have things like local authorities, but we really need, in this day and age, to stand back, redesign, and come up with a system which is workable, accountable, doesn't favour friends, and gets the job done. We need to employ a lot more people back in local authorities like we did, because they are the ones that look after all the services in the county and then in the country. So why can we cut when this day and age we need employment, and then it means that work isn't being done? Take fly tipping. That's a big scene at the moment. Millions or billions of pounds is costing local authorities to clean up. But when you look at it, probably the majority of the fly tipping has actually been brought on by the councils themselves. They restricted people going to the rubbish tip. They won't accept waste. They reduce what they've collected from households. Thankfully, most normal everyday household person have common sense and they abide by the law. But there's always opportunity for bloody sharks to get on the bandwagon, and we end up paying billions. They're better off having proper facilities to dispose of waste and saving billions in the first place, as well as employing more men and vehicles to do it. Cheaper than actually sending them out in bags to pick rubbish up off the floor. The education is up the creek. They spend all their time going around. Our children are being mistreated. Everything we're short of over the years. We're short of teachers. We're short of schools even. We're short of police, ambulance, defence, Coast Guard. Everything we've cut, and we must reverse it. With this club, with the help of the people and their ideas, we will probably work to reverse that and expand it. Fuller employment means fuller work, fuller tax, fuller everything. So the thing we need to do. So when people say that I don't have any substance on it, I admit it is not my intention to have substance. We will have a membership who will create the substance and redesign a system that will work, because we definitely need something that will work. At the moment, all we're getting now is more and more corruption. When you look at it as well, I don't advocate anti or for vaccine. To be honest with you, it's up to the individual to take their own. What people need to do is read more and look up more of the pros and cons of it, because every day more information is coming out for people to make their mind up. I think it's a bit silly for anybody to tell them one way or the other. I read today that apparently a woman had complained now, rightly so, But her 87-year-old father had been pressurised into having the vaccination against their will, because if he didn't, he would be refused treatment on his shoulder. The NHS is the NHS for the people. I know the government is trying to stop it, so we need to get rid of people like Hancock, who's becoming the star of the NHS and ruining it, and making it an elite band purely for the wealthy. It can't happen. The NHS is a brilliant thing, used properly, for the people. But as usual, there are too many chiefs, not enough Indians. The nursing staff and most of the doctors are doing brilliant jobs. But you've got those who are falsifying death certificates. They, of course, will come up to have their comeuppance at the Nuremberg trials, because that's against the law. It doesn't matter who told you to do it. You don't do it if you know it's illegal. If you do, then you deserve to take the rap for whatever you've done. So all these things. This is rambling a little bit now, because I haven't written this down. I've just switched it on with the grandchildren gone out, and I've just spoke some of my basic opinion. I will have my Facebook page up and going, more videos onto the actual YouTube. There's our site, obviously, which is available. Please look at these in the future. They will become more regular as we go on. Hopefully we can get people to join us and who can present things like this in a better, more organised, professional way. The views that we start coming up with as a club for our future. We are obviously want to recruit as many as possible, because we will only win by numbers. It will be a peaceful organisation. There is no need to resort to violence or anything. But if we don't get things sorted out, we will end up with violence. And governments, rest assured, are already got plans in place that if anarchy starts to happen, as is very likely the way things are going, in a few years' time, they will have a police state because they're totalitarian, and they will just take people out. It'll be like China, Hong Kong, etc. China for years had what they call death lorries. They were vans parked all around China, that if they found a dissident, eventually they picked one up, they'd take it back to the van, and that person never got out of the van. He was put to sleep, and he was just taken out in a body bag back at some centre somewhere in the end of the day. That will happen here before long. There's no debate about it. Hancock himself was a protege of Klaus Schwab. Klaus Schwab is in the World Economic Forum and is advocating exactly what the agenda for 2021 and 2030 is towards the New World Order and the Great Reset, and fourth engineering revolution. And Hancock was a writer of that, the same as Dominic Cummings was. He's advocating exactly the same thing, and he is putting things in place now for the UK to go that way as well. Do not believe it. There was a list I saw the other day of about 14 points. All these points are listed down as item on the end, conspiracy theory. But every one of those points so far have come true. They've actually happened. They're not suddenly thinking it's a theory for the future. They have actually taken place. And more of it is happening as we go on. We see today recently about we'll have all electric cars by 2030. Now industry in the world is saying straight, we don't even have the electric to run the number of cars we've got today in electric. We don't have the material in the ground to make the battery. But of course what they forget to tell you then is in their agenda by 2030 and on, there will be all mass this vaccination, you will get indoctrinated, there will be a culling, euthanasia. If they reduce the number of people in the world, they won't have the demand for that, will they? And if they bring the laws in later on that people cannot travel, they cannot move, they won't need cars, they won't be allowed to have cars, then they won't need that many battery power cars anyway, so they will have the electric to power it. And people like us, everyday ones, if we survive that long, we wouldn't be able to afford them anyway. So it's a very ugly situation that is rapidly developing, and today it is rapidly developing. Wait and see what happens in June. Davos is coming up again, and they will kick off to the next stages, and even now it will become more apparent. People have been caught unawares really in the governments, etc., where they realise how quick certain things have leaked and have actually happened to prove that this so-called conspiracy is a fact, not a conspiracy. And now they're batting twice on the same wicket to try and show excuses and corrections to show that they're trying to catch up because they haven't got as far in the control as they thought they do. Right, we've got a vaccine in 2021. Bill Gates is already saying about a vaccine in 2021 to face another pandemic which will be worse than this one. They've already got the country and the world shit scared of this one. So this one won't incur much anyway in this vaccine, but it'll give great scope for the next vaccine will include the so-called rumoured nanobots, etc., which will control the population, mass euthanasia. Very, very frightening. My concern is that people need to read and look into things. They say it's conspiracy, it's no longer conspiracy. It's the do-gooders and the ones who are sheep which are hiding things from you probably. But we as a country, if we don't stand up, get like a club organised where we can utilise everybody in the country, have their ideas to create a foundation of what we would like to see in the future to protect ourselves. Nobody else is going to protect us. We need to work together, group together, and work for a change in our political system, full stop. As it is, as we all know, and intentionally so, the wealthy get wealthier and the poor get poorer. And their aims for us is we are all recently to be gutter trash. Anyway, I'll leave it now and I will come back to you with a bit more constructive things later in the week, which I will try and write down and prepare notes so it doesn't ramble quite as much. In the meantime, please look at our club. Please think of joining. It's very little and you can play a major part. We are trying to recruit a team to help us carry out these roles, to create a complete operating team for the system. We have a GoFundMe page because we are not supported by any political party or big donors. And if you look at the moment, the up-and-coming parties or the renamed parties, they're all basically conservatively oriented. All the people involved are ex-lifetime conservative people and would expect their new parties to run the same way. But none of them are even attempting to show any way out of this. They're just accepting it because they're Tories as well. So we need funding if there's anybody got any ideas on how to do it, because we have to recruit a team, to manage a team. It'll take ITT, etc., etc., to be organised properly, to collate and collect everybody's information, make your voice count, and look after the future of our children, because nobody else is going to, rest assured, nobody else. Thank you very much. Bye.